I completely agree that we know that many of these local communities, indigenous communities, have been stewards and guardians of these areas for a long time. And certainly the view we're taking toward something 30 by 30 is not only doing it in the right places, but doing it in the right way. And a huge part of the equation here is securing tenure rights for some of these communities. So for example, we're supporting the Global Alliance of Territorial Communities in a project that's gearing toward trying to secure the tenure rights of about 1 million square kilometers of tropical forest, recognizing that many of these areas have been, of course, been there for many, many generations, hundreds if not thousands of years, and yet they do not have this. We see this in Brazil right now. We see what's happening there, and yet some of the areas that we're looking at now are home to dozens of uncontacted and isolated tribes. So it's really important to make sure that these communities have the right to choose in terms of their own development. And I do agree that in many, many cases, these local communities have to really will be key stewards for on land and on sea. So I think that's a really important area. And I think today, fortunately, it is true that conservation has had a very troubled history in places like Africa, but there's a right way of doing this and looking at protected areas, not in the traditional sense, but looking at conserved areas and looking at the role of local communities in doing this. So I think that's a very important point. I just want to invite us all to embrace that as we move forward.